come out now includes the Clinton area. Tornado warning now in effect for areas northeast of the original warning. This tornado warning in effect for parts of Pope, Searcy, Stone, and Van Buren counties until 6:45. It does include the cities of Old Botkenberg, and Clinton, all along Highway 65. And I'm going to zoom this out just a little bit more to get you at least oriented geographically. Does include a large part of Van Buren County as well as southern parts of Marshall County into a small part of Stone County. That warning now in effect until 6:45. Alex, sirens I'm sure going off in Van Buren County, including the Clinton area. Take cover right away. Just some updates on the damage that has been caused by this storm in the Martin Township area. We did have that report earlier of entrapment, folks entrapped in a home. They're actually stuck by debris within their storm shelter. So they were in their storm shelter. Debris slowed down the rescue teams from getting into them, but there are no injuries reported. They have been freed, so that's certainly good news there. We do have numerous reports of power lines and trees down in the LaRue Road area, and widespread reports of damage along Rushing Road and Walnut Road, areas we were following about 45 minutes ago, associated with this very strong supercell thunderstorm. So, Alex, new warning in effect until 6:45 does include the Clinton and Botkenberg areas.
Yeah, and I do want to talk about locations further to the direction this storm is going. So if you know someone that has the address, Mountain View, if they live in Mountain View, Turkey Creek, Timbo, if Highway 65 is on their address in Searcy County, let them know. If they don't have a way to receive warnings, there's no way for them to know. They might be having tornado sirens going off, but Keith's going to put this place to show where these storms will be moving and what time. The time really doesn't matter. If you are anywhere in this polygon, you need to be going to your safe space right now. You can see the system very strong. This was the secondary storm that was moving in, now looking to be part of the storm itself. So it looks like the storm is strengthening. We're seeing very potential for hail here, that purple shade that's very high returns to the radar. It just shows that could have big pieces of hail there. So not only tornado is a threat with this system, large hail could also be impacting places like Watts, so to the north part of it. But even if you are to the north or south of where it looks like it might be going, it doesn't matter. If you're anywhere within this polygon, if you hear tornado sirens going off, that means you're within the polygon. You need to be going to your safe space immediately. That's a basement again. That's a storm shelter, of course, is the best place. If you don't have that, an interior room of your house or hallway that doesn't have any windows, that debris could break through or hurt you. And if you are in a mobile home or car on Highway 65, the best thing is try to drive away from it if you can, or go to a house that has a tornado shelter. Ask a neighbor. If you know a neighbor has a shelter that you can use, please use it, because this is a powerful storm. It's already caused damage. It's caused trees to fall down. It's caused damage to a fire station as well, just as places it's already gone through. That was back in Pope County. Now we're moving into parts of Searcy County, southern Searcy County, Van Buren County, and eventually moving into parts of Cleburne County, I think that is, Keith.
Yes, indeed. So we are getting into some areas where we are looking at the increasing threat of very heavy rain, some very large hail up to golf ball size and diameter. Again, very good indications of what a supercell actually looks like, almost textbook. And you could actually see we're still getting the tight winds that are going in different directions is the best way to say it. The couplet, we'll call it, where the green indicates winds toward the radar, red indicates winds away from the radar, just to the west of the Rupert area. And in fact, some very strong winds, and that just shows the storm is still intensifying. Very, very high level, strong winds coming in from the south and east, wrapping into that hook echo and giving us that tornado that has been reported on the ground. Alex?
And maybe you could put it in play a little bit and show how those winds really strengthened over the past few scans. That's when the radar scans around. You can see it wasn't as much of this orange shade or yellow shade. That's stronger winds. Red is the weakest part of the winds. As it gets brighter for both green and that red-orange color, that's where the winds have strengthened. So there's no sign of this storm weakening. So don't count on it weakening if you're along Highway 65 and even up into parts of northern Van Buren County as this system continues to move east, northeast around 40 miles per hour. Maybe we could zoom in to see if there's any more towns or roads that we might be missing. If we zoom in, it starts to populate more towns. Copeland, Woolham, you can see this is the center of rotation right here. It's going towards the radar, going away, and we have that rotation, and that's the broad area. But somewhere here, somewhere under this, is where that tornado is currently located right now. You can see Highway 254, that's Highway 16, I believe. You can see it there. And all the roads surrounding that. This is where the tornado is currently. So hopefully everyone that is in this area is in their safe space, because that is where the tornado is going, and this is where it's heading, towards Oxley, up towards Timbo, and eventually moving out of this warning area. Just because this line ends right here doesn't mean it's not going to continue over the next 30 minutes or so. Again, moving very fast, this system is, so we're going to continue to see it move to the northeast. Eventually, it will get out of the region, but hopefully we see it weaken before it does that, as we've been covering this for a long time now, Keith.
Yes, indeed. I do want to point out that since we've been watching these other possible supercells or small-scale supercells trying to develop, they actually are, as we mentioned, moving into the main supercell. So this actually is helping that maintain itself and helping it get a little bit stronger. So this could be a very long-lived supercell that goes across a large part of north central Arkansas, with continued tornadoes on the ground, are perhaps numerous from time to time, where one may be on the ground, it weakens, a new one develops very quickly, all out of the same storm. This is going to be the main storm we're going to be watching, probably on the order of a couple of hours for parts of northern Arkansas. And zooming back out, I do want to show you where things aren't happening. I want folks to understand that this is the area that we've been most focusing on, just to the north of Conway and Faulkner counties. However, further off to the south, we're just looking at showers across central and south Arkansas. Those are few and far between. We have the other tornado warning that is in effect just outside our viewing area up in Randolph County, around the Cherokee Village, I should say the Pocahontas area, correct that, Pocahontas area. Now, the front itself now making its way into eastern Oklahoma. That's where we're taking a look further off to the west with these thunderstorms that are developing. This is where that front is located. This will be the next thing we're going to be watching. The first tornado watch will be in effect until 8 o'clock. I think we'll have a several-hour lull before these thunderstorms out in Oklahoma become more organized and form a line or a broken line of strong to severe thunderstorms, with damaging winds being the main threat. Once these organize into a line, the main threat becomes straight line winds, Alex.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be a long night. This is the first kind of round, and right now it looks to be the one main cell that we're focusing on. And the Stone County, that's a county I want to talk about, because it's not in the warning area quite yet, or it might just be in the most recent warning area. Stone County is now in it. So if you are in Stone County, if you live in Stone County, you need to be going to your safe space. Mountain View is a population center that is in that as well. Moving to the north and east around 40 miles per hour. And yeah, we want to talk about locations that aren't seeing warnings, but we also want to talk about the locations that's going to be impacting from the storm. And the National Weather Service has said this is the classic signature of a very strong storm that will produce very strong tornadoes when it sucks up those smaller storms, those smaller supercells. They say it's classic of a super strong storm. Again, cyclic tornadoes that will be strengthening as the more moisture it gets within it. And I do want to talk about more locations it's going to be, and I will extend it even further out into Stone County and even into parts of Izard County, because that appears to be the direction it's moving. It might not move exactly in a line, but that is the direction it's moving. And just if you do live in these locations, and more importantly, if you know someone that lives in these locations, you need to let them know. Marshall, Turkey Creek, Mountain View, a population center there, Melbourne, Batesville, those are all locations that could see this tornado, or potentially could see this tornado. Even though they're not in the warned area yet, they could potentially be in the future, and they need to be weather aware. So I do want to bring up the tornado watch again. Keith mentioned we're going to be here for a long time. The tornado watch shows locations that aren't necessarily seeing a tornado, but could. So if you are in that yellow shaded area, be weather aware. That means have your device on, have your phone charged just in case you lose power. Be prepared for a potential tornado warning. And again, we'll go back to where the tornado warning is at this time. and we can see it's moved into Stone County, Keith, and I did show that. And I think, Mitch, you have some information for us?
Yeah, so obviously one of the things that you guys do, Chief Keith, Alex, Storm Team, is you guys look at power outages to determine if there could be damage in a particular area. And we're just getting some new power outage information. We're looking at more than 1,000 people without power in Pope County. That's going to be customers affected with the Arkansas Valley Electric Cooperative System there, and that's going to be 1,100 customers without power. At one point, it was 1,040. Now it's 1,089. That number is going to quickly start climbing as the Office of Emergency Management confirms that there are numerous power lines down.
Yeah, it's just another stat to prove that this storm is serious. It's something that we need to take extremely seriously. We've had reports, I heard there was social media video of damaged trees down, fire department hurt, and now power outages, thousands of them you mentioned in Pope County where the storm has already gone through.
Yeah, and I think that might be a good reminder for folks as, you know, we're just so early into this night. If you haven't done so already, take your phone out, start charging it, because if any of these storms are capable of knocking power out where you live, you want to make sure that you have a way to get these weather alerts from the storm team, and you can have information sent directly to your phone. So charge your phones right now, because it could be a very long night ahead.
And the important thing to know, if you have a smartphone, normally you'll get those tornado warnings if it is your county. But if you download an app or you already have a weather app, that's where you can tell family members that might not be watching TV, they might not have a TV, you can call them, give them a call that they are in the path. You could track them yourself and show where those tornado warnings yourself. And if your family member doesn't have any of that technology, it's a really important phone call to make.
Yeah, and make sure if you do have to go to your storm shelter to, bring your cell phone with you as well, because as we now know it, and we first started getting word, we confirmed it with the Office of Emergency Management, that this person that was trapped off of Walnut Valley Road was actually trapped in a storm shelter, and they needed help getting out of their storm shelter. And again, that's going to be in Pope County, in the Martin Township area of Pope County.
And honestly, we really hope we hear more of that. People in their storm shelter, they heard of it, they heard the tornado warning, they heard the siren, and they got in their storm shelter. But I do want to throw it to Keith, because there is some enhancement in the winds with this storm. So Keith, it's not showing any signs of weakening at this time.
No, not at this point, Alex. Not quite the classic shape we saw before with that hook echo on the reflectivity, but still very strong indication of a tremendous inflow coming in from the south and east and wrapping right around just to the east of the Archie Valley area. Can we put the reflectivity back up? Let's pull up that RDOT camera, if I can get my producer Kenzie to pull that up. This is Peyton Creek area on US 65. You're seeing some very heavy rain right now, reduced visibility. So that's going to coincide with some of that leading activity associated with this supercell. That doesn't necessarily mean the supercell thunderstorm is going to pass right over this area with that tornado, but you are going to see reduced visibility with very heavy rain and then hail up to golf ball size and diameter. If we can go back to the reflectivity and show you where that heaviest of the rain is, right out ahead of the main hook echo, which again, a bit less defined, but right now I think it's going through an organization stage, drawing in some of those other smaller supercell showers, if you want to call them, those weaker rotating storms drawing into the main supercell near the Rocky Hill area. So this is the area we're looking on the camera, Highway US 65, north of Old Botkenberg and Botkenberg along Arkansas Highway 254. This is the area that is of greatest danger right now with that tornado that had been confirmed several times and has caused some damage, some of it very considerable. That is now moving out of Pope County on into Van Buren County, just off to the north and west of Old Botkenberg at this point. This is the main storm we've been watching, and pretty much the only storm in our viewing area, the KLRT Fox 16 viewing area, that is ongoing at this point. Other showers are occurring, but nothing is showing any signs of being severe. Alex?
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why we think this storm is so powerful. There's not any other storms that take its energy. It's actually taking energy from other smaller storms, and that's why maybe it's not looking quite as organized on the reflectivity map that Keith was talking about. It doesn't look like a hook, but there's still very strong rotation with this storm. Very, very strong winds indicated by those bright colors. So they're bright green, those bright orange and yellow colors. That's one wind going one direction really fast and the other one going very fast in the other direction. and that is rotation in that direction. So anywhere underneath that is where we could possibly see a tornado, and it's moving again in this direction or this direction, anywhere between these lines, or even further east and north or south or west of any of these lines, we'll possibly see a tornado. And
well, at this point, the National Weather Service has downgraded this warning, and I don't like to use that word.
No.
How about we say we've changed this warning from an observed tornado to a tornado possible radar indicated tornado. It's been a while since we've had any on the ground reports. That doesn't mean there's not a tornado there. It's just we can't confirm one with eyes on the ground. So at this point, we don't have a confirmed tornado on the ground, but very clearly the possibility still exists with the strength of this supercell.
Yeah, and the only reason that we might not have a confirmed tornado warning, the purple shaded warning, colored warning, is because there might not be anyone there. It might be in a very rural area where no one can see it. Fortunately, if that's the case, that's good. Or we might not just have any spotters in that location that would relay it back to the National Weather Service. But just because the warning is red, not purple, doesn't take anything away from the strength of the system. Mitch came here, talked about power outages, just shows you how strong the system is. We'll take a zoom out, and we can talk about other potential systems, which fortunately there really isn't any at this time. There's a new one heading towards, it's heading into Yell County, but that one has not been strong enough to be warned, but it's a new cell that has recently popped up. We can zoom in on that one for a little bit.
Moving into that area where there's a lot of shear and a lot of rotation in the atmosphere as you go up with height. So that's a storm, of course. Anything that develops, at one point, Alex, there were 5 different developing showers that were rotating, which just goes to show you how very, very prime this atmosphere is for possible tornadoes.
Yeah, so we're waiting for a new warning to come out, but we fully expect places like southern Baxter County to be included in that. Izard County, it hasn't been extended yet, but we fully expect it. It started all the way back by Russellville, north of Russellville, south of Clarksville there, and it's continued to move miles and miles to the north and east, and there's no reason why it will stop. So again, if you're in Stone County, if you're in Izard County, if you're in southern part of Baxter County, you need to be in your safe space, or at least ready to get to your safe space right now. If there's no harm in doing it, no harm in going to your safe space early, you're not going to regret going to your storm shelter or your basement. You will definitely not regret that, but it is an important safety measure to take. Mountain View, Turkey Creek, Timbo, 56, NASCO, these are locations reported on our map, and that's where the storm is moving toward. We'll take a look at some of the rotation here again. Center rotation just to the south and west of Highway 65. It's going to be moving over Highway 65 soon, and I think Keith might be talking to one of our producers about a camera that might be right there. I think that's pretty close to where that camera is, but the rotation, again, moving to the north and east there. Rocky Hill is where that center rotation is, so you need to be in your safe place. Rumley, that's a location directly in the path of this storm. Plant, Elba, Flag, Oxley, Alberta, those are all locations directly in the path of this storm, and we can even list a few more as we have this feature where it will show you Rocky Hill, Rumley, Oxley, Timbo, those locations I mentioned, Mountain View, all in the path of this storm. And right now, this is the only storm that we're really tracking in our Fox 16 KRK viewing area, but it's a big one, it's a powerful one, and it's already caused a lot of damage, and it has reports of damaging trees on the ground, damaging fire department, excuse me. It's a powerful storm.
Yeah, and again, we still have indications of rotation. It's a little broader than it was earlier. That's probably the reason why we've kind of changed that warning from an observed tornado to radar indicated. So the storm could be reorganizing at this point, and it could tighten up at any time and produce a tornado in very short order, getting very close to US 65 north of the Clinton area. Now you see the folks in the Clinton area, the warning has been updated. You are no longer in the tornado warning again, but if you feel your safety is threatened at any time, even if you're outside of that polygon, move to a safe location. Right now, it looks like that hook is getting pretty close to US 65 in the far northern part of Van Buren County. And again, looks a little bit better on radar than it did about 5 minutes ago, Alex.
Yeah, you mentioned it was looking a little bit more broad, but that doesn't mean that there isn't a tornado, but it does look like it's reorganizing. We can see that hook that's reforming. It wasn't there just a couple minutes ago. There's the hook right in that circle, and that's where we're expecting to see a tornado on the ground. That's why it is warned, tornado warning, even though it hasn't been verified only by radar doesn't mean that it's not a powerful storm. And I mentioned earlier, Keith, no regretting going to your safe space. If you're scared, go to your safe space. It's not gonna, no regret there, right?
No, none at all. None at all. It's better to be safe than sorry. Right now, we've got live video coming in from the Arkansas Weather Watchers. Thanks to those folks out there. This is along Arkansas Highway 66 west of Mountain View. So this is where that possible tornado is headed. We're going to keep an eye on their video as we head through the next hour or so, see if this storm redevelops, or we'll say tightens up, intensifies a bit. It has, again, I don't want to say weakened, but it has become a little less organized, the rotation a little broader, which is certainly something we want. But this is live video coming in right now along Arkansas Highway 66, just to the west of Mountain View, in advance of this storm. So they would be in a location where if this storm maintains its strength and the warning is issued, they would be very near where the tornado would be expected. So, of course, we're going to keep an eye with our partners from the Arkansas Weather Watchers group. Thank you for that video. Back to the radar. We're going to take a look right now and see that that storm's still very strong, Alex, and certainly still shows a lot of signs that we expect to see with the supercell thunderstorm.
Still a lot of rotation. This is the radar in Fort Smith, kind of broad. That's a little higher up, but we can go to the Little Rock radar. That's the closest radar at this time. And you can see very, very strong rotation. That's probably pretty high off the ground again. This is the way radar works, is the further away from it gets, the higher it can scan and not get directly near the ground. But very good signature of rotation. And all it would take, if there isn't a tornado on the ground, which we don't know that, would take a millisecond for it to happen again.
Yeah, most definitely. We're going to switch back now to the reflectivity, and this basically tells us what's going on precipitation-wise in the storm. Certainly, this is the big storm that is occurring, and you can see over the course of the past 30 minutes, those other rotating showers quickly moving into the main storm itself, possibly enhancing the storm, adding a little bit more energy to the storm. The last thing that another supercell wants to see is another supercell, because then they don't get to tap all that energy. In this case, this storm has the ability to tap all the energy in the atmosphere without any disruption. I'm going to get it really close for you, Alex, to show you where this is headed right now, where that hook echo is crossing US 65.
Yeah, that's exactly, this is the hook echo right here, right around where Rumley is. That's the rotation, that's the broad area rotation. The tornado, likely not this big, but located in this area near Rumley. Noah's, Leslie is to the north. They're likely getting some pretty large hail in that pink shaded area. That's very heavy hail likely. Rumley, that's the path of where the tornado's heading. We mentioned we had those Arkansas weather watchers. They were near Mountain View, looking like the path on Highway 66. It looks probably around this location. That's where this storm is heading. So likely to get some pretty good video from them. Here's some of the towns that it's going to be impacting over the next 30, 40 minutes. If you see your town name on this list, don't take your time. Go immediately to your safe zone. That's Rumley, Oxley, Timbo, 56, Mountain View. That's where the Arkansas Weather Watcher storm chasers are looking. That's where their camera is facing this direction of where the storm is heading. Again, heading into parts of Stone County, heading into Izard County eventually, as it continues to march its way to the north and east. And at this time, it doesn't seem like we have any other storms to talk about than this one. But this is a serious one. It's a strong one, and you can see it, the hook echo that Keith's been talking about right there. As you zoom out, you have a couple smaller storms, but these ones are not severe, just dropping rain and possibly some lightning and thunder, but nothing that will cause damage. Again, severe storms equals damage, and the only severe storm we have in our viewing area, Fox 16 KARK viewing area, is that one that is under that tornado warning. This one in Yell County, nothing warned yet, nothing too dangerous, but it could be. It could blow up at any time, and it's something that we need to watch. And Keith was talking about it earlier. Even the smallest little storms had rotation. It just shows our environment is perfect for creating supercells and tornadoes. There's a little bit of rotation. Again, this storm's not severe, but it could become severe at any time. Someone in Danville could notice that it looks like a powerful thunderstorm. At the moment, it is not severe. It is not damaging, but it could be at any time.
Well, exactly, Alex. Just to show you how prime the atmosphere is when these showers pop up. Now, this is the region where we did have those numerous supercells try to spin up. Of course, we had that warning a bit earlier out along the Oklahoma state line for parts of Polk County as well as Scott County, and those areas still rather primed for rotating storms. It's something that we're going to continue to keep an eye on, because anything that pops up this afternoon, we'll say over the northern Ouachitas up to north central and northeast Arkansas, is going to be very, very capable of developing a rotation to it. And not to say that this is going to do something, but for you folks in Yell County, this is another storm to watch, because these storms have developed from nothing to basically supercell tornado-warned storms in a matter of 30 minutes. Something we're going to keep a very close eye on, Alex.
Yeah, keep it in this camera view. This is the corridor that we're talking about. In Yell County, down towards Polk County, Mina is where a couple storms started that were warned earlier today, and they're moving in the direction. You can see the direction on radar that all the storms are moving. In this area between Hot Springs, say, and up towards Fort Smith is a very broad area, but that's where the storms have been forming and strengthening into a tornado. That's where the warning is. And this one very well could become strong enough to become a tornado. Let me stress, it isn't yet. Danville, you're not in an area yet that could be a tornado, but any minute, storm could strengthen like the one did up here and become a tornado as we go back to this strong storm that's heading right towards Mountain View, just to the north and west of Mountain View, heading into parts of Izard County, Melbourne, heading into 56, that's a name that you can see there on your map. Again, 40 miles per hour to the north and east, heading right towards where those Arkansas storm watchers are on Highway 66, west of Mountain Home. This storm is a tornado warned by radar. It's indicated by radar at this time because it hasn't been seen on the ground as a spotter, but it's still a very strong, serious storm we need to worry about. It was on the ground back in Pope County. It caused damage there. It caused power outages there. Caused someone to be trapped in their storm shelter. Thank God that they were in their storm shelter there. And now it's still moving up to the north and east, heading towards west of Mountain View. That's a pretty big population center there.
Definitely. That's Mountain View in Stone County, far western parts of Stone County in that tornado warning until 6:45. We've got about 20 minutes left for that. And just to take a little bit closer look now at any towns that might be in that part of that tornado warning. The Oxley area, just south of Arkansas Highway 66, that is where the most dangerous part of the storm is. Possible tornado inside that little hook. That's where we'd be looking. So the folks living in the Timbo area, you would be next up. Now, this storm is coming very close to the western end of the warning polygon. We very well could see a new warning issued shortly if the storm maintains this intensity. So looking further to the north and east, places like Timbo, New Nata, as well as Mountain Home, up to Sylamore, those are areas that could be under tornado warning in short order should this storm continue to maintain its strength and intensity as it moves toward the western end of the polygon warning box. That's something we'll have to keep an eye on, Alex.
Yeah, Keith, we actually have, it looks to be a little bit of good news coming from a storm spotter. He says the way the storm looks, he saw it, it looks more elevated than it was before. The storm before was a tornado. It caused damage. It might not be on the ground right now, but it could drop down at any minute. He did mention that's some good news that we're seeing, Keith, out of this storm spotter, that it looks to be more elevated than it was before when it was a tornado.
Now, and something, we need to consider too is this part of the state, Alex, not quite as warm as central and south Arkansas were earlier. So perhaps instability is a little bit lacking in this area. Still a lot of potential, a lot of wind energy, but it's possible that instability may be lacking just a little bit to bring the intensity of the storm down. It's something we definitely want to hear more of.
Yeah, that's exactly right. You nailed it. He said his car thermometer has dropped as he's been tracking or spotting the storm. It's been getting colder. So the colder, the less humid, the less energy these storms have to work with. So the only thing we can do, we can cross our fingers hoping it runs into even colder air and weakens furthermore. We do have a storm report of some hail in Searcy County, just a nickel-sized hail, so just less than a quarter-inch hail. So this storm not only producing tornadoes, also producing some pretty large hail.
Yeah, definitely. And that's one thing, we often talk about elevated thunderstorms versus surface-based thunderstorms. You can have all the energy in the world that's elevated, but you've got to get it down to the surface.
Yeah, there's some radar indicated hail where their most recent tornado warning that's been extended into
Like-
Baxter, Izard, Searcy, and Stone County. So those are counties. If you know someone that lives in Baxter County, Izard County, Searcy, or Stone, let them know if they don't have a TV or they don't have a way to receive alerts. That's really important to let family members or friends know. And again, Baxter, Izard, Searcy.
This storm, obviously, still strong enough. No reports of a tornado on the ground, but radar indicated. And speeding up. You notice this next polygon's a lot longer than the previous one. And what's the speed right now, Alex?
So the latest speed, 55, so it's speeding up.
Moving northeast at 55 miles per hour. So that's a mountain a minute. We'll say a mile a minute. I'm looking at Mountain View on the map. A mile a minute. So for people living in the Timbo area, as well as Mountain View, Silamore, even out to Melbourne and the Gid area, Calico Rock, anyone within that polygon, move to your safe location right now because this storm is moving forward northeast at 1 mile per minute. It doesn't give you a whole lot of time to react, and it'll be at your location before you know it. Alex, once we get settled in here, let's take a look at the times of arrival. I know this is kind of a bigger area. We'll have to zoom out a little bit and see if we can get times of arrival for this storm in various cities in the new warning area. And that would basically show us that we're looking at Mountain View at about 6:49. That's about 20 minutes from now. Calico Rock at nearly 7 o'clock. Melbourne at 7:07. Horseshoe Bend at 7:22. And Ash Flat at 7:30.
To get some more reports from spotters. It looks to be a little bit more good news where there's no damage this path of the storm when it went over at Highway 65 between Clinton and Leslie. There's no reports of damage there where it has already passed through. So that's some more good news, and we have more reports here coming from the National Weather Service.
And you know, we were talking about the storm's getting farther north. So it's getting closer to somewhat cooler surface air. So this could be the beginning, at least we don't have a tornado on the ground, could be the beginning of a slight reduction in the intensity of the storm. And let's hope that continues. This new warning is going to be out until 6:45. Again, severe thunderstorm with a possible tornado located near Elba or 14 miles southeast of Marshall, moving northeast at 55 miles per hour, 45 miles per hour, I should say. Looks like we have another warning that has come out. Oh, this is the continuation.
Yes.
All right, we're just continuing this warning. The current location of the storm is near Elba at this point. Now it's moving into the new tornado warning box area. A little bit of confusion there on the speed, but it is now moving northeast at 55 miles per hour. Hail up to 1 inch in diameter is going to be possible.
Yeah, we can see the structure of the storm on the radar. It doesn't look quite as impressive when it did have a confirmed tornado back in Pope County where it caused damage and power outages, but it is still strong enough for the National Weather Service to put out a tornado warning. That's Stone County, Izard County, and parts of southern Baxter County, very, very, very southern tips of Baxter County. But the main impact right now looks to be north central Stone County, northwest of Mountain View, heading towards Melbourne in Izard County, and up to the north and east of that. But the good news is what we've seen so far on radar and from reports on the ground is that it has weakened some, but they're going to continue the tornado warning anyway.
All right, so let me check back in with Kenzie, our producer. Do we still have that Arkansas Weather Watchers live feed up?
Yeah, they're about where it's going to be, it looks like.
Yeah, it looks like if we still have that feed up, they very well may be near where that storm is going to be headed. If not, we're going to zoom in anyway. It was along Arkansas Highway 66 to the west of Mountain View. It looks like they're on the move again. Mm-hmm. And, you know, these folks, they know what they're doing. They are being very careful. They have a camera that's mounted, so there's not somebody driving and holding a camera. They're taking all their safety precautions, and they're very familiar with the structure of severe thunderstorms. Again, thanks to our partners of the Arkansas Weather Watchers. On the road now, I'm not sure where exactly they are, but I would imagine they're somewhere along Arkansas Highway 66. Let's take a look at the radar. Alex has outlined where Arkansas Highway 66 is, just to the west of Mountain View. So they're traveling toward probably the Timbo area. They were just east of Timbo a little while ago, looking to intercept that hook echo. At this time, again, we're not getting reports, but as you saw in the video, Alex, visibility greatly reduced in that very heavy rain. So this could be a rain-wrapped tornado, even though there's none reported on the ground at this point. Yeah,
they were definitely in some very heavy rain. So this radar only updates every minute or so. So they could be around this location, but the heavy rain like here or even hail could be over them at this time. But right now, the location of concern for a possible tornado is in this hook echo, where you can see that hook, and then I circled the location, likely
Let's
under
see if
a
we can get it a
tornado.
little bit closer, Alex. Go ahead and zoom in, and I'm not sure. I know it's not a highly populated area, but there are a few communities, the harness area as well as the flag area, right in that weak area where you see that's surrounded by the very bright returns. And as Alec gets over to the chroma key wall, he's going to point that out to you right along Kennedy Road. That's where the possible tornado would be.
Yeah, harness, Kennedy Road, you can see the hook right around going towards Flag, up towards Old Highway 66. You can see it right here. This is where the likely location, if there is a tornado, is going to be right under where this hook is hooking down from this storm. So up here, likely hail. Down here, likely a tornado if the tornado is currently on the ground. We had those reports when it went over Highway 65 a couple of minutes ago that there wasn't damage where it went through, so that's good news, but that doesn't mean any second that it couldn't just drop down immediately, because storms this powerful, storms shaped like this with that hook, could drop a tornado any second. So if you are in this location, Keith drew an arrow here, this is where you need to be going to your safe space. That's Timbo, Highway 263, going from south to north there. Places in this location likely or could see a tornado on the ground and need to be in your safe space. We can reiterate where your safe space would be. That's a tornado shelter is the best option. If you have a basement, that's another good option. If you have a normal house built on a slab, that's where you can go in the innermost room of the house, no windows on the base floor. And again, if you're in a mobile home or a car, you're not safe in those locations. You need to move to a safe spot. If your neighbor has a storm shelter, you need to go there. If you're in a car, try to drive in the correct direction, but that's just so hard to do. So make sure you're in your tornado safe location. And Keith, zooming in a little bit more, Timbo, you can
Alex,
see.
that's going to be the place where this is going to be headed next. So just some discussion from National Weather Service. Incredible winds associated with this. Winds of over 110, 115 miles per hour of shear and headed right for Timbo. So folks living in the Timbo area, you've got a very dangerous storm coming into your area now. I've zoomed in closer to Timbo. I'm going to zoom out a little bit to show you where that hook echo is. And again, we're getting some contamination in that, but where we're most concerned about is this area right here. This is where we have that possible tornado. Again, nothing confirmed, but it does show that that area is rain wrapped, so there very well could be a tornado that you can't see. When the hook echo kind of goes all the way in a circle, we've got a rain wrap situation where it may be heavy rain the whole time, and you are not going to get to see when the tornado approaches. That's why we advise you to stay in your safe shelter or your safe room or your safe space until this tornado has passed, Alex, because a very incredibly strong storm, and it's headed to Timbo. And next after that, probably very close to New Nata.
Mentioned this was Severe Weather Awareness Week, perfect timing. Just because it might not have a tornado doesn't mean it's not going to cause a lot of damage. It could have, like he said, straight line winds as much as 70, 80 miles per hour. Even if it's not rotating like a tornado, still could cause trees to fall in your house. It can still cause debris to get blown around. And it doesn't matter if it's not a tornado, it can still cause a lot of damage. But the biggest concern is a tornado. That's why it's surrounded in this red box. That's a tornado warning. If you're located in the box, you're likely getting notifications on your phone, and you're likely having tornado sirens going off in your county. So this is the locations it's heading towards, up towards Highway 87 there, 56. You can see Sillamore, I think, Highway 9 as well. That is just to the north and west of Mountain View. But if you're in Mountain View, you're still north of the tornado warned area, so you still need to be taking cover. Here is those rotations, here's those winds. Very, very strong winds. You can see that bright orange shade really strong away. So the weakest would be the red and the green, with stronger as those brighter colors. And those are the bright colors you're seeing, that bright yellow, orange, and bright green. So even if there isn't a tornado on the ground, which there might be with this system, it could still cause a lot of damage. That's very strong winds. They might be aloft, but they could get down and cause winds on the ground anyway. Again, heading towards the northeast around 45 miles per hour. Very, very powerful storm. Whether it has a tornado or not, it's extremely important that you get to your safe space at this time.
Well, definitely, because these storms, Alex, straight line winds can cause tornado-like damage. We'll have our breaking news reporter, Mitch McCoy. Mitch, you're kind of reporting on what has happened with this storm when it was out in Pope County.
Yeah, because there's obviously no doubt there was something that happened out there, we can measure that based off of the power outages. And if Alex or Chief, you guys need to jump in, feel free to do so. We know that there's at least 1,200 people without power right now in Pope County. But here's what could be one of the biggest pieces of information. Is people living in the Martin Township area, people living near Dover, they need to stay home. Do not go out. Don't try and assess any of the damage right now. They're trying to really send in all of the first responders, get Arkansas Valley Electric out to that area. There are numerous power poles down. There's trees down. It is just an incredibly dangerous situation.
These power lines could be very well active live.
Yeah, and it probably, they probably are at this point. I mean, these are power outages that were just reported, 30 minutes ago?
Right.
So it's very likely that these are still live, live power lines, maybe across the street, maybe across, front yards. You really never know. So stay home if you are in Pope County. Don't go out. Don't try to assess any of the damage.
No disaster sightseeing, folks. We're in an area that has limited access to begin with. We have a lot of damage. We have trees and power lines down, damage to homes, damage to businesses, and it's dark.
Yeah, which makes this even more dangerous.
Right.
And it makes it even more dangerous for first responders. So the Pope County Office of Emergency Management put out that message just a few moments ago, asking people to stay home. Don't go to the Martin Township area. Don't go to Dover. So we're going to continue to monitor those updates coming from there. I want to point out that the Office of Emergency Management in Pope County, they have not received any significant reports of damage or trees on homes. So that is actually, some maybe good news.
Well, outside that home where people were in the storm shelter.
Exactly.
And that really worked out well.
Yeah,
for
I
sure.
mean, and they were trapped for very briefly after some damage blocked their storm shelter. So, and then there was also, they were getting some reports near the Salo area, which is also in Pope County, of a possible second touchdown of a tornado, but it's heavily wooded. So, I mean, it would be hard for them to assess anything. The Office of Emergency Management says that they really only know of one person that lives up there, and they're sending crews now to go check on that person.
Right, that's something that could be figured out over the coming days as the National Weather Service gets out and basically analyzes and surveys this damage. Thank you very much, Mitch, for the breaking news. Let's go back to the radar. That storm right now going over the Timbo area, Alex. And so folks in Timbo, you are in the eye of the storm, so to speak.
Yeah, if we could zoom out a little bit, we could talk about those Arkansas storm watchers. It looks like they might be in the location of where it's heading. They're in Mountain View on Highway 66. I don't know if we have a feed live right there with them, but that would be a good timing for it because the rotation, there's the winds going away, a wind's going towards, one's going this direction, next going the other, and it's rotating. So this is likely, if there is a tornado, where it is. Nuanot is one of those locations. Highway 66 is where our storm spotters are. I don't know if I can hear from our producer if we do have that feed still up, but that would be really, that looks like they would probably be right in the path of it, and we could see whether there is a rotation on the ground or low-level rotation or possibly
Couple of areas of rotation there, Alex, and that is not uncommon with supercells. There could be two rotational centers or circulation centers with the storm this strong. Another sign that it could be reorganizing. You can see those two there, one near Timbo and then one just to the west of West Ridgewoods, Alex.
Do we have any updates on any possible other storms that we could be watching?
No, at this point, again, we're in a very rural part of Stone County. No other reports, damage reports coming in that are current reports. We do have some reports of power flashes 13 miles. Well, this actually is a new one. Reports of power flashes 13 miles west of Mountain View. Usually a sign of, at a minimum, damaging winds crossing the roadway, and golf ball size hail just to the 13 miles west of Mountain View as well.
And that's from the Weather Watchers.
And this is from Arkansas Weather Watchers. So they are out there in the middle of this storm. And as we told you just a minute ago, Alex, new circulation is developing further off to the south. That's that stronger one there that will become the main one. Why don't you talk us through that?
Yeah, here's that. So we were talking about the broad rotation. There's a way towards, but this is what Keith's talking about, that really tight rotation. So that's Highway 66 Mountain View. It's going to be heading directly over that right now. I saw we just had the feed up, but it didn't look like it was working too good. But this is the location we're concerned about. We have two different wind directions going opposite directions, and that's where you see the potential for a tornado heading right towards Highway 67, Cedar Hill Drive, Highway 87 or Route 87. And there's Keith drawing that rotation, that where this tornado, if there is a tornado with this storm, is located. And we could zoom in on possibly these suburbs or houses or roads in western parts of Mountain View, kind of a more populated area. So far, it has been going through pretty rural locations of Stone County, now heading in towards Izard County as well. You can see Maple Drive, what is that, Hub Wills Road, and Halding Boulevard, Shannon Drive. This is the location right over here. The rotation is there, and it's heading in that direction. It's heading to the north and east, right around 45, 55 miles per hour. It's been speeding up. And it's also running into continually cooler air. And that's really the only thing that we can hope for is this system to weaken and weaken as it heads to the north into colder, less suitable air for a tornado, for a thunderstorm, for a strong one, but it's strong. I mean, you can see these really bright yellows. That's really, really strong rotation. And here's where it's heading. You can see over towards the next 15 to 20 minutes, anywhere located that you can see on your screen, any of these towns or roads, if you know someone that lives on them or near them, tell them to go to their safe place if they don't have another way to do it. East Richardson, Mountain View are the two locations popping up right now. Again, in the next 5 to 10 minutes, you can see East Richardson at 6:49, Mountain View, pretty populated area, at 6:50. So these storms, again, moving very fast to the north and east, up towards Stone County, eventually into Izard County, are the counties we're really concerned about with this latest warning. I'll send it back to you, Keith.
All right, for you folks in Mountain View, we're going to talk directly to you right now. Get into your safe location. It does look like this circulation is very powerful. And again, it's nighttime. It would be very, very difficult for a spotter to actually identify a tornado. But there's all indications of this storm that this is now the new circulation. It is headed very close to your location. And in fact, at this point, I'll just do a distance measurement. It is 4 miles west of the city of Mountain View, generally moving to the northeast. So at that speed and at that track, it looks like the most dangerous part of the storm will be on the north side of Arkansas Highway 66, on the north side of Mountain View. I want people in Mountain View and just to the west of Mountain View on Arkansas Highway 66. If you're not in your safe place, get there right now, because this is a dangerous storm just about on top of you. Alex, do you have something new?
We just heard from our producer there's a lot of power outages. I think she's probably talking about in this area that it is right now. So we can pop up the map here and show you where power outages are currently right now in parts of Stone County, I think, and near Mountain View. It's kind of hard to see.
Oh, we're getting to zoom in now. Yeah, in the Timbo area, there's Timbo right in the middle. It looks like there's power out all along that, according to the Entergy power map. That would be fairly indicative of either destructive winds or a tornado on the ground. Again, no confirmed reports, but this is one way that we can tell what's going on the ground is by looking at the power outages. Now, the power is out all along Highway 66 up until you get to the Mountain View area. So power is out along Highway 66 all the way up to Arkansas Highway 9. So a strong indication that damaging winds are now moving into the western side of Mountain View. People in Mountain View, don't go outside and look for this storm. Interior hallway, interior room, put as many walls between you and the outside as you can. If you can safely do so, and that's an if you can safely do so, leave your mobile home for more substantial structure. If winds have already picked up, don't put yourself in jeopardy. Again, a new scan coming in with an indication of some very, very strong winds, well over 100 miles per hour, at least at the level the radar is seeing it. And those winds are now, the tornado, possible tornado, now just west of Mountain View. Please, folks in Mountain View, move to your safe locations now, because this storm is coming down Arkansas Highway 66 right for your area.
Yeah, it's moving very fast. You have around a minute or 1 to 2 minutes to get to your safe space, whether that be your storm shelter, your basement, or interior room of your house. But even there, this
new index, this storm is moving so fast, Alex. I just tried to draw a new scan. We're talking that it's now 2 miles west of Mountain View, and the storm has taken a slightly more easterly track. It was moving northeast, but the last couple of scans showing it more easterly, very close to Mountain View. Move to your safe location. Please do so right now. Don't hesitate. Get into your safe location now. Central Stone County, a possible tornado on the ground. Reports of widespread power outages along the track of this storm in the last 15 to 20 minutes. Get to your safe place now.
Yeah, and to the north part of that, there's hail almost, radar indicated hail nearly 2 inches in diameter. So not only is it the winds and the potential tornado, also some very large hail probably to the north of this circulation. But look at that circulation. Look at the green cell right next to the orange or yellow cell. That's different winds in different directions, and it just shows it's really tightened up, which means more likely that we could see a tornado.
There's no doubt, Alex, this is now the new circulation. The old circulation's over. It looks like it was near New Nada. Right now, this new circulation, we should have another update coming in about 30 seconds, and this is going to be right on top of Mountain View. The storm less than 2 miles away now, moving east at about 60 miles per hour. That's 1 mile per minute. Please get in your safe spot in the Mountain Home area, East Richwoods, and north on Arkansas Highway 14. The storm is just about right on top of you. You have no time left. Get into that safe location. Alex?
Yeah, you can see Mountain View on your map. There it is. A lot of roads. There's a lot of houses located in this area. So everyone in Mountain View, get to your safe space. This is Highway 17 going north of Mountain View. That's also the direction that this storm's moving, to the north and to the east. And I talked about the cells, the different colors, right next to another green and yellow. That's the location. That's the rotation. And the tornado is likely within this circle that Chief Keith's drawing on your screen. So that's Highway 66, Route 87 as well. Also 14, all located in this area. And we can zoom out a little bit to show even more locations.
All right, new scan just coming in, Alex. Still on that easterly track, now on the west side of Mountain View.
Yeah, it's still showing signs of very strong winds and likely a tornado with the winds going opposite directions. But even if there isn't a tornado, this shade of bright yellow and orange, that's extremely strong winds that would cause damage even if they were going straight. Even if they were going straight line winds, still would cause power outages, trees down, and damage to your house. So that's why if you're in Mountain View, a very populated area in this location of Stone heading towards Izard County, that's where you need to be in your safe space. So Mountain View, again, a very populated area compared to where this storm has been moving through so far. And then everyone in Mountain View, get to your safe space, get down as low as you can get in place with no windows if you don't have a storm shelter. Obviously, a storm shelter is the safest place that you can be, Keith.
A tremendous... let's take a look at our RDOT camera southeast of Mountain View. We've got a live feed right now. There's some lightning. The lightning going on. These storms have not had a lot of thunder and lightning. If I can ask our producer, Kinsey, which direction is this pointed? Is pointed south? Is it pointed toward Mountain View? I think we're trying to find out that specifically.
A lot of lightning, though.
Yes, we're southeast of Mountain View. We're pointed south, so we're pointing away from the storm. 110, let's see, I'm doing some quick calculations here. This storm is intensifying, Alex. About 125 mile per hour winds, winds of shear associated with it, showing a very strong supercell thunderstorm. The circulation, of course, just about on top of Mountain View, very close to it at this point. And we've got the possibility of, at a minimum, destructive winds, and at worst, a tornado. One not on the ground, but one certainly possible, Alex.
Yeah, and we could zoom out a little bit. Locations north and east of Mountain View that this storm could be impacting pretty soon. That's Twin Creek, Lone Star. This is Route 9. So Route 9, that's right in the path, and also to the south there too. Gid, Golan, Herpel there. These are all locations that you need to be in your safe space. You're likely getting a warning sent to your phone if you're in that county, if you're in Izard County or parts of northern Stone County. That's where we're most concerned about with, of course, Mountain View, the center of attention right now, with those extremely strong winds. Keith mentioned over 100 miles per per hour, whether they're creating a tornado or not, they're going to cause a lot of damage in Mountain View.
That's the gate-to-gate shear, Alex. That's if we were to have a tornado develop, it would be an F2 or stronger. So certainly a very dangerous situation for folks in central Stone County, Mountain View area.
Exactly. That's what he's talking about. Gate to gate, one going one direction, the other one going other direction. That's caused that rotation. And if there's a tornado on the ground, here's the most recent scan. This is where it's located. We have the green next to the red, next to the very bright orange color, which is extremely strong winds. You can look at this on your map. So the green is the weaker ones, but we're seeing a lot of this shade. That's very, very strong winds producing gate-to-gate velocities or winds of over 100 miles per hour, which Keith said if it's producing a tornado would be a very destructive one. That's why in all these locations you can see on your map, all this entire circled area, even off to the north and east, you need to be in your safe space right now. This is a very strong storm. We mentioned it might be running into some cooler air, but it looks like that doesn't matter. We can see it even strengthening as we get more and more scans coming in to the radar. You can see just north of Mountain Home now, likely the rotation just to the north part of downtown Mountain Home, moving to the north and east pretty quickly, 45 to 50 miles per hour. We've been tracking this storm since parts of Pope County and into parts of Yell County. So it's been a long, powerful storm, and it's just continuing until it's eventually going to move far to the north and east.
All right, Alex, if you bear with me a second, now that we have storm obviously right over Mountain View, perhaps just a little north of downtown, I want to try to look at the correlation coefficients and see if we're getting any indications. And at this point, I'm not seeing anything that is jumping out as a lot of damage. Of course, we would look for bluish colored things because that would show a large difference in the sizes of objects. The yellow and redder they are, the smaller the difference in the sizes. So it'll be like raindrops or hailstones. So fortunately at this point we're not seeing any obvious signs of debris, but that certainly could change if this storm touches down, which is quite possible at any moment. Again, just to the north, we are getting just to the north of the Mountain View area. That's where that circulation is crossing Arkansas Highway 14.
And you can go back to the correlation coefficient or the debris possibility. We saw with really strong, powerful tornadoes, deadly ones, EF2 and greater, they throw debris miles into the air. So that could be some good news where this radar is showing probably thousands of feet off the ground. Mountain View is pretty far away from our Little Rock radar. But if it was an extremely powerful tornado, we'd likely be seeing a debris ball. But we're not seeing it that this time. But that doesn't mean we don't see a very dangerous, powerful tornado and very dangerous, powerful winds at that. I know, Keith, did you get some new information there from our producer?
I'm going to set us up here a second. And let me get, Kenzie, if you can let me know, do you have a live feed from the Arkansas Weather Watchers? Let's go ahead and throw that up, and I'll read some of that information you just gave me. These folks, these guys are trained to look at storms, and it is very difficult at night. But in between lightning flashes, you can kind of make out things. They're reporting 2 separate wall clouds and 2 areas of rotation over the Mountain View area. That's where this storm is right now, over and just to the north of Mountain View area. The main wall cloud did have a funnel cloud right over Mountain View. That's what the Arkansas Weather Watchers are reporting, our partners for watching severe weather on the field. So thanks to those guys out there. Please stay safe. For not only our Arkansas Weather Watchers partners, but also people in the Mountain View area, because this is an extremely powerful storm. And according to the Arkansas Weather Watchers, at a minimum, a funnel cloud very close to or over the Mountain View area. That circulation now moving east of Arkansas Highway 14, Alex.
Yeah, it's moving at 45 miles per hour to the north and east, so it's continuing to move out of Mountain View. That doesn't mean you can leave your safe spot. Just stay there, stay put. But moving into places like Twin Creek, Herpel, moving to the north and east again. 45 miles per hour, very fast moving storm. We can zoom out a little bit to show you what locations might be in the path as it continues to march into Izard County and even into parts of Sharp County and areas to the north and east of that, eventually getting out of the state of Arkansas. But right now, still located in the border between Stone County, Izard County, just to the north of Mountain View. And you can see that broad area of rotation, which, Keith, it could be caused by it continually moving further and further away from the radar.
It's very possible, because the further we get from the radar, the higher we're looking in the thunderstorm. So that does present some problems on identifying what the low levels are doing. But with our partners, the Arkansas Weather Watchers, we at least know that there are one, perhaps two wall clouds. Those would kind of be the main areas of circulation in the thunderstorm. So we've got two of those. And we did discuss that earlier when one circulation was weakening and the other one developing. The wall cloud that was over the Mountain View area, they did observe a funnel cloud associated with it, not touching the ground. A funnel cloud is a tornado that has not touched down. Or you could look at it the other way, a tornado that hasn't touched down is a funnel cloud. But for folks in the Mountain View area, stay in your safe place, still possibly damaging winds associated with this storm. It is beginning to move to the north and east away from Mountain View, over and east of Arkansas Highway 14. That would put the Lone Star area and Melbourne next in line. So right along Arkansas Highway 9, that's where this storm has generally been tracking, we'll say just to the south and east of Arkansas Highway 9. So times of arrival, 7 o'clock in Twin Creek, the Melbourne area at about 7:12. Violet Hill, we're looking at 7:21, Franklin at 7:25, and Horseshoe Bend near 7:30. This particular tornado warning in effect, I believe, until 7:15, Alex, if I'm not mistaken. At this point, this storm is... I'm sorry?
Until 7:30 for Izard and Stone.
I'll take that back, till 7:30 for Izard and Stone counties. Now, the storm has slowed down in its forward speed from near 60 miles per hour to 45 miles per hour. Doesn't really make a whole lot of difference. And again, just south of the Silamore area, very near the Izard and Stone County lines. That's where that storm is, between Silamore and Herpel area, Twin Creek. That is the circulation center, the rotation of this storm. Very strong wind energy seen on the National Weather Service radar in Little Rock as the storm heads off to the northeast. So still very strong indications that we could have a strong tornado touchdown at any moment. This storm has been causing damage along its track. Power outages generally to the west of Mountain View. And in the meantime, I'll ask our producer, Kenzie, to take a look at the power outages again. I'll call for him in a couple minutes to see how Mountain View is faring as far as those power outages are concerned. But certainly a dangerous storm. And at this point, Alex, still the only main and most dangerous storm we have in Arkansas. We do need to reset and show folks what's going on across the rest of the state. We have a tornado watch out for a large part of central, west, and northern Arkansas. Let's review what we've got going on as far as radar is concerned, and I'll send it back over to you to talk about that.
Yeah, we're looking at the state view, the entire state of radar. We can pop it back up there on your screen. And that tornado warning in parts of Stone County heading into Izard County, those are the counties of main threat. That doesn't mean it's not going to continue into Sharp and Fulton County. So if you know someone that lives in Stone, Izard, Fulton, or Sharp County, Arkansas, you need to let them know that this is likely a tornado on the ground. And Keith mentioned, let's take a look at the rest of the region. And overall, good news there. There isn't a whole lot of other cells or thunderstorms that are forming, but I do want to circle this area in eastern parts of Oklahoma. This is where a secondary round of storms will form, and the thing that will cause them, well, that's a cold front. Will move through tonight, eventually bringing us cold weather for Monday, but we're not out of the woods once this storm gets out of the state, because the main threat right now that we're most concerned about is the current tornado warning in parts of Stone, northern Stone, moving into parts of southern Izard County. That is our main concern right now. But when it gets out of the state, when it gets out of your town, when it gets out of your county, that doesn't mean you're out of the woods, because we do have a second round of thunderstorms that will be moving through closer to midnight tonight, and we could see more tornadoes with that round. This current round, though, has definitely produced at least one very strong tornado. There were other tornadoes reported up in northeast Arkansas located in this circle. Those have since gone to the north and are out of the region, but right now the biggest concern is moving into Izard County as we speak.
All right, Alex, let's go ahead and take a look at the power outage at this point. Certainly somewhat good news. Entergy covers a large part of that part of Arkansas. So you can see Timbo on the left-hand side of your screen. I know this is a small map. Timbo is that town that's on the left side of your screen. Mountain View is a more concentrated green line you see on the right side of your screen. Power is on in Mountain View. Those lines are energized. That would certainly be an indication that we did not see significant damage associated with the tornado. Not to say there wasn't damage, but at least damage to infrastructure as far as power is concerned. Now, this is just from the Entergy site. There are other co-ops that handle some of the areas surrounding there, but at least at this point, Entergy showing no widespread power outages in Mountain View, which would at least seem to indicate we don't have widespread infrastructure damage. However, in the Timbo area, that's where we do have widespread power outages, and it looks like that area probably did experience either damaging straight line winds or a possible tornado a little bit earlier. I'm sure the Energy crews as well as our Arkansas co-op crews will be out there assessing the damage. So as was said earlier, for the folks in Martin Township, Pope County, don't go disaster sightseeing, folks. Stay home. Let the professionals do their jobs, get the power back on, and get people rescued. I'm going to bring our breaking news reporter, Mitch McCoy. And Mitch did have some reports about injuries.
Yeah, and we want to let folks know that, and Chief Keith, Alex, if something comes up, just cut me off. But Pope County, we just confirmed with the Office of Emergency Management that one person is now injured and has been taken to a hospital. We're being told by the Office of Emergency Management that it's a man and that a tree fell on this person. The condition of the injuries unknown right now, but that person has been rushed to the hospital. And that is really what we know right now from Pope County. We know that there's numerous power poles down, there's numerous trees down. You know, if there's power outages being reported, like you guys were just talking about, where these storms are going through, you should assume at this point that power poles are down, and if you see a power pole down, it could be live.
Yeah,
So,
don't ever touch a live wire. And you mentioned Pope County is where they saw a lot of the damage and the power outages. That's where we had the tornado warning that was purple, which means there was a confirmed tornado on the ground, saw by someone that is on the ground. So right now, we don't have that purple warning on our radar, but we do have a tornado warning. And the only reason we might not be seeing that extra warning that has the confirmed tornado might be because it's nighttime now. You can't see as well. It's dark. We're getting more scans as the radar comes in. And we're also noticed west of Mountain View, where we saw those power outages, that could be caused by just straight line winds or a tornado. So it doesn't really matter. If the wind's strong enough, it can cause a lot of damage. And this is velocity. What you're seeing on your screen, the yellow or gold or orange color, that's going toward or away from your radar, and then that green shade, you can see a little bit of it here on your screen, is going toward the radar. So whenever you see that rotation, that's where we expect to see a potential tornado. If there isn't a tornado there, it won't really matter because those speeds or wind speeds might be aloft, but they could drop down and cause damage anytime. So look at the towns that are on your screen. Look at the towns that are in this path moving to the north and east of the system in that direction. That's where they need to be near safe space. And again, family members in Izard County, Melbourne, Zion, Gid, Lone Star, if you have anyone that lives there or you live there yourself, don't take any time to protect yourself. Do it immediately, right now. Go to a safe spot in your house. That could anytime. So look at the towns that are on your screen. Look at the towns that are in this path moving to the north and east of the system in that direction. That's where they need to be near safe space. And again, family members in Izard County, Melbourne, Zion, Gid, Lone Star, if you have anyone that lives there or you live there yourself, don't take any time to protect yourself. Do it immediately, right now.